welcome everybody. We are back for the episode 1 of In the Mouth of the Beast Below. We had our episode 0 last week where we did character creation stuff, which was really fun and interesting. We got to randomize a bunch of stuff, which was kind of cool. And then today we're gonna dive into the story and everything. It's gonna be really fun. Before we do that, I'm gonna give everybody a chance to introduce themselves, say a little bit about who they are, where we can find them, and also a little bit about their character. Um, and then we'll pass it on to Leland. So starting at the top left, as per usual, Par, tell us a little bit about Cliff and yourself.
Hi there. I'm Par, and I'm playing Cliff Crushkill, or Crushkill, for those that are in the know. He's an ogre, 9-foot tall ogre. He's got an average build, and he's a lot handsomer than I thought he'd be, I'm going to be honest. I wasn't expecting it. Really threw me off when I saw him. So it's gonna be a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to this character. Everything I thought I knew is now gonna have to be turned up to 10. But I'm also on the internet here, just an aspiring author, still writing, still working on stuff. So eventually I will have something out again. But until then, I'm just a lover of TTRPGs, and I'm very excited to jump into this one.
Awesome. Next, we'll hop down to Stace. Tell us a little bit about Squire Flippa and yourself.
All right, so my name's Stace, and I am an amateur TTRPG player. I have a character in this campaign that is a camel centaur, so like a horse centaur, but a camel, which is a direct result of some of the random roles that we experienced creating our characters. She's a squire. Her name is Flippa, and of Kalos. It's mystery. Yeah, whichever. It depends on which part
Tomato.
you're from. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm from Southern
uh,
Kalos, so that's what I was saying.
Right. It's a big argument every time that there's a family reunion. So yeah, she's a camel centaur. She's a squire. She's got a spear. She's got a crossbow. Really excited to see her fight, since that's where I spent all of my points. And as for me, you can find me around the internet as at Stace Windu, Twitter. I'm even here on Twitch, occasionally venture out, and most especially on the Explorers Wanted actual play Numenera podcast, drops weekly on Wednesdays. If you like character-driven, narrative-driven TTRPG actual plays, check it out.
Awesome. Next, we would normally have Darby. He wasn't able to be with us this week, but I believe should be here next week. But definitely go check him out at Pixel Justice on Twitter. He does cool art and is just all around really cool person. Definitely check out his stuff. And then next we've got Nathan, or What is Kiss? Tell us a little bit about, and I love this name, Fleetfoot Mac, and yourself.
Hey, what's up? That's me. I'm Nathaniel Kiss, aka Nathan Kiss, aka What is Kiss, aka Fleetfoot Mac, the halfling investigator, who always finds the right person and always finds the right clues. But you know what? Sometimes society doesn't care. If you want to hear more about Fleetfoot Mac and his adventures pre this campaign, check out my Medium account. Eventually. Until then, you can find me on Twitter under What is Kiss, sometimes a stream on Twitch, but I'm putting a Discord together. So if you're cool, you might get a link to that. Until then, I'm just a feature, baby.
All right. Next, we'll hop up to Nikki. Tell us a little bit about Daisy and you.
I'm Nikki. I'm playing Daisy, who is a halfling, and I am a content creator at Nick Cool on Twitter, and I'll just add stuff on there.
Awesome. That just leaves me. So I'm Raven. I am the creative director for The Raven Evermore, which is my brand for everything I do, from game design, tabletop streaming, voice acting, a whole ton of stuff. You can find out all about that stuff at my link tree, which I'm going to get into chat there. That's got links to my website, all social profiles, etc., etc. And then I am playing Katanova. And I apologize in advance because I'm going to attempt to do a Russian accent for this character, and it's probably going to be horrible, at least for this episode, until I actually go practice it. Because, like a very, intelligent decision, I decided about 30 minutes before the session, yeah, she's got a Russian accent. That's fine. Anyways, it's gonna be fun. She's a socialite and an anarchist, so is sort of like trying to bring down the system from within. Um, and it's going to be a really interesting character. She's also a Grendel, so she looks sort of more like a cross between like maybe like a tiefling and a faun. Um, so she's got the big horns, kind of like you'd see like a tiefling or um, like a demon character in some worlds. Um, and they're pretty big horns. But for the rest, head down. She looks pretty much human, except for right around knee level when she starts getting some fur and hooves, which obviously are not human. So, really interesting character. Excited to figure her out. And then, also important thing to mention: sponsors, which will be in chat. Grinding Coffee Company. If you use the code Raven at grindingcoffee.co, you can get 10% off your order. It's really good stuff. They roast their coffee right before they ship it, so it's about as fresh as you can get without like roasting it yourself at home, which believe me is not as easy as it sounds. Aside from that, we've also got Fundamental RPG, which is my own tabletop system. You can find pre-orders for second edition on that for discounted prices at coffee.com/raven/shop. And that should release end of February or early March. So pick that up before the price goes up, after the pre-order period is over. And that's available in PDF and paperback, and the paperback prices include shipping, so don't worry about having to pay extra later for that. That's the whole price to get it to you. And then finally, Intrepid, which is a brand for IRL adventuring gear, so outdoors wear, athletic wear, casual stuff too, and accessories, all with the tabletop theme. Pretty cool stuff. That's also at my coffee shop. All those links are in chat, and with all that out of the way, Leland, tell us a little about you and this wonderful world that you're building for us, and take it away.
I almost forgot that I had to go still. I was like, oh shit. I'm Leland / Leopold the Just / Lee. I have too many names too. I feel like Nathan over here. He may have like one more than me, but anyway, I don't know. I am a social media consultant for a number of different tabletop RPG and film companies. I won't get into that too much. Just look for @Leopold the Just on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and Steam too, I guess, if you want to add me, play some, I don't know, something. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be running this game. Before that, I would like to, wait a second. Okay, here it is. I would like to say a special thank you to John Riggins, comic artist, @CanChaosArt on Twitter, and Travis Hansen for the character art that you will see throughout this campaign. Also, I would like to thank Raven Evermore.
That's me.
Wherever she's at, on the screen.
Bottom
all
right.
Right. For the layout, overlays, and the fortune and misfortune tokens. Whatever. You're somewhere in the ether. And also, oh yes, fortune and misfortune tokens. We will be, we might not use those too much today. I don't know. We'll see. But they're awesome. And also to Kevin McLeod and my best friend, Paul Milan, who doesn't have social media really, but he makes really good music, for all the sounds that I will use throughout this campaign too. Also in tabletop audio as well. So this is session 1 of In the Mouth of the Beast Below. It is a Zweihander RPG horror exploration character building experience. So hopefully character and world building experience. So hopefully this is as enjoyable to you all as it seemed to be for us just during session 0 last week. So we will start in the bustling seaside metropolis of Silo, which is governed by a merchants guild of the same name. Within the port town's walls are many recipes, garments, dyes, and other goods from around the world. If these lands were to be called a stewing melting pot of cultures, then Silo would be the spice blend that ties it all together. Most laws in this town are fairly executed, with the exception of theft, which is treated much worse than it is in other parts of the thearchy of East Cairn. Merchants don't want you stealing their stuff, so they're assholes about it, right? Anyway, so I would like to go around the virtual table and get everyone to. We had a little bit of physical description in the intro, but I would like maybe just to devote the beginning part of this just to physically describe your character a little bit more. It doesn't have to be too terribly in depth because we don't really have the art for everyone. So, anyway, and then after you describe your character, I'll get you to, if you sort of could paint a picture of what your day is like leading up to the evening before you set out on your journey. So your journey is going to be the next morning. So just tell us basically how your day went and sort of what you did in Silo leading up to that. And then I'm going to ask you what your characters will miss the most about your time here on this continent before you set out onto this journey. So I actually think it might be better if I just let people go when they're ready, because instead of going around the room and putting someone on the spot for that much improv information. So whoever wants to go first, just start off. Yeah, of course, the improv guy. Just start off with their physical description, then tell us what daily life's like for old Fleetfoot Mac, or what the day is like for Fleetfoot Mac, and then what you miss the most.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, I'm playing Fleetfoot Mac. Fleetfoot Mac is a halfling. As said on the character sheet, middle age, dark tan, 3'8", 78 pounds with sienna hair and pale green eyes. Fleetfoot Mac also has a very long mustache. And I think that's where our story begins. Fleetfoot Mac always had a nose for investigation. That's why he became an investigator. Eventually, business picked up and everyone wanted him to investigate things for them. Fleetfoot Mac always solved the case. But eventually, bigger fish caught on. Fleetfoot Mac ended up taking on a case, as he does. However, this case had too many loose ends, too many twists and turns. And at the end of it, Fleetfoot needed to go. Maybe he was running for his life. Maybe he knew a little bit too much. But one thing was for certain. He had to be on the next ship out of here ASAP. Fleetfoot isn't a hated guy. In fact, Fleetfoot is liked by most. Unfortunately, the folks that like Fleetfoot don't have much power and sway in this city. Sorry, what was the assignment again?
I posted it in Zoom chat.
Oh, yeah. So, where was I? Oh, there it was. The character sheet. So, Fleetfoot has this ticket, and GM, I'm going to need your help with this. Just a bit.
All right, of course.
Taking out all the money that they have saved. They buy their ticket, close up shop, give off all the goods and material things that they cannot bring with them because he gots to go.
Yeah.
going from his place of work to the docks, is there any interruption at all?
I would say, do you have any cases that haven't been solved yet?
Every case is solved.
It's all solved. Okay.
There's every case is solved. The last one, something big happened though.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Maybe it went too high up, or maybe it went too down low.
Along your route, whether it's paranoia or the truth, you do feel like you're being followed by a number of different people. Seem to be like either peering at you over like a book, or like peeking around like a tree or the side of a building. You know, just that like comical like. Whether or not they're just looking at your mustache or not is totally a different story, but
there's like some sense of paranoia in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
Fleetfoot, just hurries on and like keeps whatever equipment they have kind of close to their body, and it's just like, I shouldn't have walked through Library Park, and just kind of hurries on past all the people reading and the people behind the trees.
Library Park. I love it. All right. If you want to switch over to the map screen, Raven, it could just give everybody kind of a view of the city map. It's not super relevant.
I want everyone to see
visually.
Library Park.
Library Park. I don't know if it's there. But it's there now. Let's see. Go ahead and add it there with the text tool, wherever you want, buddy.
Thank you very much.
All right. And so you eventually arrive that night at the place you're supposed to meet the people. Let me turn this down some. It's a little loud. Boop. All right. You arrive at the Rock Feather Inn. It's a portside inn where you're supposed to meet the crew of the Gallant Gale that you bought the ticket for. They were not in town. Spell that here. They were not in town when you bought the ticket. They essentially had like an agent here in town that was like selling a few tickets, and as you are one to do, I assume you probably inquired why it was so cheap, because normally it should have been about an 11 or 12 gold journey, but you got away with only paying 3. And their explanation for the low cost is that they're just looking to take on a few more passengers to cover some extra costs that they didn't foresee.
Fleetfoot would like to see if if anyone representing the crew or the captain of the Gallant Gale, or is it just like TripAdvisor?
It's essentially just like their travel agent guy that's working for them, but they will be they're supposed to arrive tonight and be at the inn throwing a big party at the Rock Feather Inn.
Is it the Travelocity gnome?
Yes, it's a gnome. But he looks nothing like the Travelocity gnome, and he would be offended if you showed him a picture of the Travelocity gnome and compared him as such. So.
For legal reasons, I know.
Yeah, we don't want to get Raven sued over here. Anyway, all right, and so you arrive, and there's like a bustling party going on, and we'll go ahead and stop there with your character, and then break off and ask what do you think your character will miss the most about Silo, we'll say, or wherever you're from.
We'll do Silo. Fleetfoot would definitely just miss the sort of like people, like people of the earth, people like who are grounded, just trying to do their best,
Yeah, a
And
lot of working class people here in Silo.
everyone's just like trying to scrabble by with their scraps, but they keep on getting stripped on their scraps. So now they're like scrap.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful poetry. Hopefully you're at the next inauguration.
Hey,
All right. Well, I love it. Yeah, people here are, like I said, it's a like a spice blend. It's a kind of almost, I kind of imagine more like like the Mediterranean, like in medieval times, just how everything was just like all the food and stuff just went everywhere at that time because of like the massive trade in the Mediterranean. That's kind of sort of how I imagine this place being sort of like a hub. Um, all right, and then so we will go on to Cliff. If you or no, wait, I'm not choosing people. That's right. Who wants to go next?
That's
All
fine.
right. Well, I saw a hand raised on Nikki at the same time. Cliff said that's fine. So Nikki sounded more enthusiastic, so we'll go with Nikki.
Okay, I'm going to try to do as good of a job. So, on the corner of a street is a small figure, about, well, let's see, like 3'9" or something like that, or two, whatever, however tall she is. She's a halfling.
She's short as hell. That's all we need to know.
Wrapped in a brown cloak with a hood, walking around looking up at various people who seem like they might have an extra coin, begging just for a bit, just to feed her younger sibling or for medicine. When her hood slips away, you can see fire-colored red hair and large purple eyes that she just stares at everybody with. And in a sweet voice, she's just begging for any coins that are available. That's how she spends her days. She's not from Silo. She just got there, and she just seems to just be trying to beg for a few coins to survive.
All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say she's new there. She's not going to miss much, but she does miss a few things from back home, especially a friend that she left behind that she knows she won't see again.
Excellent. All right, so I think my microphone's messing up. Hold on. Let me plug my microphone into a different USB port. I will be right back.
All right.
So what brings all you guys here?
To the in character or out of character?
This is out. My character
I
hasn't been
completely
in-
forgot to describe something on Daisy.
Oh,
Go for it.
describe it. Yeah.
Paint us a word
Her-
picture.
When she holds her hands up begging, one of her hands is bandaged up and the other hand is also bandaged, but it's gone. There's no hand there at all, which probably gets her a few more coins because she looks really sad.
Yeah, that was one thing I was about to say. Okay, this sounds much better. My USB port was going out. Okay. So because of that, let's look at your character real quick. I know I said there probably wouldn't be too many skill checks, but you are begging for money actively, and I want to. This will be a good. Let me turn this fucking light off. There we go. Much better. Let's see, Daisy. All right, I'm gonna go over to your skills and attributes tab. All right, so you could do probably a couple different things. You could do bargain, or charm, or guile. Any of those three skills. I would say I would say that actually I would say you couldn't do bargain. You could do charm or guile, which would be two different methods of trying to get money. So guile would be like lying about something and trying to pity them into getting money, and charm would just be like telling them the truth and being charming. But because you have a rank in bargain, I would give you a plus 10 to either of those skill tests.
Okay, Guile.
All right, so click guile, and then when the situational modifier pops up, just throw a plus 10 in there, and then hit submit, and then we'll see what happens. That'll sort of determine how much cash you get. Okay, I don't know why the rating said a 0, but we do know it is a 36, and then an 85 is way higher. So you don't really have any luck. It seemed you might be in a more snobby district of town or something. You're not sure. Maybe you're not showing them the severed hand enough. Like I don't know. Like maybe I don't know. Yeah, you don't seem to accrue any wealth throughout the day of your begging. Do you do anything else, or do you just or you just sort of darting around town trying to collect some extra coin before going to the inn to
Well, I'm
cash in your
assuming
ticket?
all of her coin that she had went to her ticket, so she's like, that's why she's begging so much.
Yeah, at least most of it did. Yeah, you essentially like saved up. You do have 22 brass pennies, so I don't know. That's something. um, but yeah, so you're just trying to amass some wealth. With no luck, you sort of shamefully make your way to the Rock Feather Inn, a place you would never have enough money to go in the first place. But this is supposedly where you have to go cash in your ticket and meet the captain. Because on the ticket it does say that the captain is due back in this evening on this date. So that's why you came into Silo, saw that someone was selling a ticket for a journey to another land, and you said, "Okay, I've got enough money saved up just for that." It left me with 22 pennies.
Well, I'm very sad to be going into this place and not probably able to get a drink, but I'll just stare at everybody.
Yeah, it's true. So you're basically on your way to the door, and uh, you see a handsomely dressed, mustachioed, kind of nervous-looking fellow make his way towards the same establishment that you're going
Confidently
to.
nervous.
Yes, just sort of looking over his shoulder quite a bit. And so we will go ahead and pause with your characters kind of like essentially going into this place, and I'll get to the description of the place later once everyone has gone through this. And so one thing, what is one thing you'll miss most about your home, Daisy, since you're about to leave it? Granted, Scylla is not exactly your home, but this continent is.
I'm going to say she had luck before this getting coin. I don't know, maybe the day before, so she's going to miss that, I guess.
Okay, got it. She misses how much people pity her here in this town and how lucrative of a of a business it seemed to be. Yeah, I mean, you probably come from a small village and you're just like gonna work your ass off for your money, and you just come here and just use your cute purple eyes, and just people would usually just toss you money, but it was a bad day, I guess.
And where she was before, they had a whole system thing going, so.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, so we will go ahead and whoever wants to go next. I know I did pass over you, Lance, if you want to go with Cliff next, or whoever else.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right, so like a little physical description, which we'll have just for the sake of the viewers, we'll have an art reveal probably either next Friday or next session or the one after. So we've got two pieces down. Yeah, 4 to go. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry about that. But yeah,
No,
brief physical description, then paint a picture of your last day here, and then what you missed the most.
I thought I was muted, so when you responded, I was just like, oh, shit.
No.
It's like, not only was I muted, but I have to say that again. Okay, I wrote out Cliff's description. I'm a person that's bad with descriptions. I'll say that first and foremost. But from this head of mine, here's what I came up with. Cliff Kruskill is a 9 foot tall and 678-pound ogre. His skin is light green with small pock scars across the area of his chest and halfway down his arms. Despite his large stature, the build of his body is as average as you can get for his height. Cliff has blue-black hair and a comb-over. I included an image, but obviously I can't show that here. And charcoal black eyes. His usual attire consists of a pair of dress pants that have been repaired with several different patches of finely made fabric. So the main pants are brown and has patches of something like green, blue, red, and, etc. A purple dress shirt with sleeves permanently rolled up because, you gotta, when you're getting down to business, you have to roll up the sleeves. And just some durable black boots, worn a bit from just usage, but still functional. So, there is the description of Sir Kruskill. So, you want to know what the last day of Cliff Kruskill looks like? Well, it's been a very long and troublesome life so far. Looking after the supply was not exactly what I hoped to do. I wanted to inherit Kruskill's, my father's store, but as life happens, I became a bit of a degenerate, as you might see. Moving away from home, I opened the supply to get things to people that they need in a less than legal sort of way. Game of fence, something of a known figure around these parts. Am I fleeing? No, but it's boring. See, I think I'm a king amongst men, and I have provided all I can to this land. So Geordie will be taking over the supply, and I will be moving on to greener pastures. I want to leave a mark on this world that is undeniable, and though I am of ogre descent, I think you'll find that Cliff Kruskill is always able to leave his customers satisfied.
We found the daddy of the campaign. Just wait till you all see the art. Oh, and if you do want to see the art, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm posting
yes.
once it comes out. But
Lighting out of the blue corner, straight from Dream Daddy, a dating simulator, Cliff Kruskill.
ogresonly.com. Excellent. All right. So, what will Kruskill miss the most about this his home?
What will I miss? Well, not much at all, but I suppose I'll miss butting heads with so many frustrating customers. No, I will not drop the price, and yes, you will pay what I ask.
Excellent. So nothing. Got it. I love that answer just as much as anything else. All right. Okay. So you right around the time that you arrive to the Rock Feather Inn, couple of fishermen seem to catch a big one. They're reeling it in on the well, not reeling, it's probably not a reel. they're hauling it in on the dock there, and the fish flies up and smacks one of them in the face, and then you hear a couple of people chuckle, and then you look over and see you see Fleetfoot Mac and Daisy Flora, and then we'll go ahead and I don't imagine you all know that you're each passengers or whatever. You're just sort of happening upon each other before going in to the bar. So just because I would like to rewind ever so slightly and let us get a use out of these fortune points. Um, Nikki, would you like to spend a fortune point to re-roll your guile? You're rolling against a 46, by the way. I know it's showing a 0 rating. I don't really know why that is, but you're rolling against a 46. But if you want, you could try and re-roll it by spending one of these fortune points, and just basically just flat out gives you a re-roll. You take whatever the second result is.
Wait, do I have again?
Right here, everybody has, as a group, has 7. So this is a group pool of them. And so when you want to use one, you just right click one of these little tokens here and hit flip card, and it'll turn it into a misfortune token, which I can use against you all, but I likely won't this session up just because this is mostly a role-playing session. But
Sure, I'll use it.
all right. So yeah, they're definitely meant to be used. So plus we've monetized them, and the more we use them, the more people might want to give Raven some money to flip them back over, you know. But yeah, so if you want to just right click one of these cards and hit flip card, and then it'll do a fancy flip. And then Raven can flip it on our overlay at the same time. So it'll be flipped here in roll 20 and on the overlay. Anyway, I'll just...
which seems like a good time to mention that we did hit 5 retweets and or replies on the game tweet, so we can flip it right back over.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, don't even worry about flipping it. So go ahead and re-roll your guile then. Just click it again. And instead of putting the +10 in, actually, go to the top of your character sheet, and you'll see difficulty rating chart, and it should be a red dot that's on standard. Just go ahead and click routine, and then roll your guile tests. And then you won't have to worry about the situational modifier. You can just hit submit.
Also, another note, when we hit 10 retweets and or comments on the game tweet, it'll flip one of these over to a misfortune token. So if you want to give Leland some stuff to play with, make sure you go retweet or and or comment on the game tweet, which is right there in chat.
Okay, yeah, I need to go find that. Can you post it in the link into Zoom for me?
For the tweet, yeah.
All right, thank you. Just for me, so I can go get it real easily. But okay. So there you go. A 6 under 46. There we go. It worked that time. So that's a huge success. So we will go ahead and figure out. I will go ahead and I'm gonna say that, like, whenever you get to the end, you start kind of begging some of the other people who are coming in to the Rock Feather Inn. You know, beg them one last little chance of begging. All right, you managed to get 9 silver pieces. It's a pretty wealthy town, so they're handing you out some silver coins.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. You rolled super well too, so beating something by 40% is quite a good roll. So anyway, that's how we use fortune tokens. You would have just right-clicked and flipped, and it would have turned it into a misfortune, which we have this cool Reaper guy. But because of those retweets, it would have just flipped right back over to a fortune. So, and again, I usually will always have these cards, or I will pretty much always have these cards somewhere on your screen in Roll20. So we will always be able to just look down and see how many collective fortune and misfortune we have.
How many silver again, so I can add it?
9. Sorry, my roller's set to GM roll, so I realized now you couldn't see that. All right, and sorry to interrupt Stace and Raven's beginning parts here. So, all right, so we'll go over either Stace or Raven, whichever one of you wants to go next. You can start with your physical description, paint a picture of your last day in Silo, and what you will miss the most about home.
I'm good to go.
All right, go for it.
Go for it.
Camel.
All right, so my character, Squire Flippa of Kalos, is, like I said, a camel centaur. She is a Grendel, which is there are a couple of unusual things about her. The fact that she's a camel centaur isn't it. That's not that unusual to see around, a half beast sort of creature. So, but she does have yellow fur. So she has a lot of fur. Obviously, her entire lower body. She's got fur along her forearms and her hair. It's all this yellow color, very yellow. And the skin that is exposed, she has ebony skin. So she's got a lot of contrast going on. She's wearing leather armor on her upper body. And she's a single humped camel, I believe, based on the sketch that I saw. It looks like
Yeah,
one hump.
dromedary.
So, yeah. I'm sorry. Did you just drop a camel word? I was thinking
Yeah.
like I gotta get on Wikipedia and learn about camels.
Yeah, single humps are called dromedaries. Anyway, go ahead.
Dromedaries. Okay. And so, yeah, she has a spear. She has a shield. Strangely, the shield looks like maybe whatever colors or crest was once on it has been attempted to be scraped away. She's got an arbalest, which is a big crossbow, real big crossbow. And she just clippity claps right on into town. She spends the day really double checking her preparations. She's, making sure her rucksack straps are tight and adjusted correctly. And she's making sure she has all of her supplies, and she's going through her trappings and getting them all out and being like, oh yes, I've got my tinctures. I've got my oil pot. I've got my laudanum. And she just like licks the laudanum a little bit. She goes from shop to shop, and she just replenishes whatever rations she used on the trip over into town just to make sure they're topped off. She drinks a lot of fresh water to fill up that hump, which is how camels work, I think. And yeah, so that's just kind of what she does, is she just really obsessively double checks and prepares herself for the journey. But what else is strange is she's a little bit old to be a squire. She's fully adult. A lot of squires by now are knights, young knights. And the other strange thing is she's not accompanied by her knight. She's solo. So those are the two strange things about Flibba.
I like it.
Cannot wait, and that will actually be the next art revealed because we got a rough draft of it earlier.
I'm so stoked.
Late last night. Yeah.
Beyond my
It's gonna
wildest
be awesome.
dreams.
Once I was just gonna say, once we get all the artwork done too, the non-map overlay, the one we were on initially, I'm gonna try to fit the art on the overlay too, so everybody can see it.
I'm actually getting busts to help with that, so we'll have busts.
Oh, fantastic.
Busts and yeah, he's doing a triple threat package: busts, full art, and tokens. So I'll hook you up with all that for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, I
And
went.
what are you gonna
Go ahead.
miss the most about home?
She's going to miss the fact that even though maybe things didn't go well, right? She's going on this trip for a reason. She's gonna miss knowing her place. She's a squire, and people know what that means. And she accompanies a knight, and people know what that means. And she's gonna miss the pomp and ceremony of tournaments and melees and competitions and going from castle to castle. And she's going off from a familiar life that was hard, but had a sort of routine and rhythm to the great unknown.
Excellent. I love that. That's a great answer. Right around this time, you roll in, and the others have made their way in, but Flora is still, or Daisy is still out begging, and you see someone sort of scoff at her, but still toss her a couple of silver coins anyway. And then there we will go over to Raven's Raven, if you can go ahead and describe your character and paint a picture last day and what you missed the most.
Yeah, so I'll be playing Katanova. As I mentioned before, she's a Grendel. She's got sort of start at the top and go down. So she's got black, blue hair. It's kind of like a side shave undercut type thing on one side, and then just swoops over. It's short, but swoops over about just above the jawline on the other side. So it kind of swoops down over one eye a little bit. And she's got horns, which, if you're familiar with Magic the Gathering, kind of looks like the Nicobolas horns. Kind of that shape, but about half the scale. So it's not like, her horns aren't like 3 times the size of her head. They are appropriate size for her head size. She has a just looking at my notes here. Oh yeah, violet eyes, which are her pupils are like slits rather than round. So she has somewhat animal-looking eyes. She's got a light tan complexion with somewhat sharp features on her face. And she's got a slender build for the most part. Dresses very fancy. She is a socialite, so she tends to socialize with people that are above her social class quite frequently. And she would be a fan of fancy shoes, except that she has what might look at first glance to be like leg warmers below her knees, but it's actually her fur, which is also black and blue, with a blue sheen to it. And then they end with hooves. So that's kind of what she looks like. And then, what were the other questions? Paint a picture of your last day in Silo. And I'm going to attempt to do this accent. So the last day for Kata in Silo would be making sure that the revolution that she'd started before is good to keep going. The flames of revolution, bringing down the patriarchy and whatnot. Those need to be stoked, and since I'm leaving, I need to make sure that the appropriate people are in place to keep that alive. And I'll be leaving because, how do the commoners say, the heat is too hot, so I need to leave town. I have angered the wrong nobles, so I will be leaving for a while. So my last day is making sure that all the affairs are in order, that the town is taken care of, the commoners know who to target, and making sure I'm ready to go on this journey. I don't have a lot of supplies with me, but I'm sure I can persuade somebody to help me with what I need. What will I miss most about the area? Well, it takes a lot of work to how do you say, make the nobles putty in your hand. A lot of preparation and time and effort goes into that, and now I have to start over. So that will be what I miss most about the area, is being able to get away with that easily.
Excellent. I love I just imagine like you're just have like a piece of paper, like parchment you lay down, and just like a list of like public figures that need to have like their houses like firebombed because they're awful. Because it's one of the first things it mentions about the Anarch is like firebombing like people. I'm like, oh,
Of course.
shit, this is rough.
Of course, officially no list like that exists, but if there did, then yes, that would be that's what I'd be preparing.
Perfect. And what we miss the most about home?
Oh, how easy it is to manipulate the nobles here. I'm going to have to start all over. That's a lot of work.
Excellent. Yes, they're very easily manipulatable, especially because it's like such a merchant-heavy place. Money is usually what drives everything. Excellent. I love that. Okay, so by this point, you've all, it's about evening, which is, pretty much around the time that the almost like welcome home party type thing is supposed to take place at the Rock Feather Inn. You all enter, not necessarily at the same time, but you enter the Rockfeather Inn, and you're immediately bombarded by the uproar of the rambunctious crowd-goers. Music from a band, a quartet of stringed instruments, can be heard under the noise, but it's mostly being drowned out. The smell of barbecue beef and fermented fish oil fill the air, fortunately masking the stench of the patrons. um, let's see. One sec. Sorry. Boop, boop. Get some tavern music. Everyone likes tavern music, right? All right. And if it's too loud, just adjust it on your own end. Figure it out. You're an adult. All right. It's not even playing for me because my internet sucks so bad. So it'll play at some point for me, but
it's playing. You're good.
All right, good. That's all that matters. You all arrived in this place, and once you'll find who to turn your ticket in to, they hand you another like little voucher, and it's essentially just like a food and alcohol ticket. So the fact that you bought a ticket to for the journey on the Gallant Gale gives you basically like access to the catered event, because they didn't rent the whole place out. They had to kind of sort of set up a wristband thing, so almost. And so everybody essentially gets their voucher, which gives you free food, board here at the inn, and alcohol and other drinks with the ticket as well. There is a 4-drink limit on the alcohol, and there's a little spot for them to scratch an X and do it or something, to mark off how many you've used. So I'm sure some of you might find ways around that. So it seems as if the crew is here. They're mixed among the people. You see a few different humans, and an elf escorting a large ogre, which is clearly the captain, towards a back private room. You see this rowdy, hairy, pot-bellied, sort of like almond-skinned sailor, just sort of just rocking out to the music, and he's like trying to get his orcs buddy to dance along with him, and the orcs kind of seems like he's not having it, but eventually kind of nudges him enough, and the orc starts throwing down with him, and they're just like rocking out. Like the stringed instruments are really going hard right now. And so you've got a couple of different sailors playing a card game, and you got a couple of different sailors playing a drinking game. There's various different ancestries. There's a Grendel who seems to be bringing drinks to a bunch of other people who are just kind of hanging out, like in one of the back tables. There's a halflings, dwarves, another ogre who seems to just sort of be quietly eating a big meal off to himself. They're all dressed like sailors for the most part. There are people from the public in here as well, just trying to kind of rub elbows with these sailors. If you're from Silo, you do know the Gallant Gale is a renowned merchant ship. And sorry, just reading Zoom chat. Pay no mind to my random laughter. And but yeah, so it seems to be like a pretty well put together event that's been planned for a while. And so I would like to go ahead and go around the virtual table again and ask what everyone finds themselves eating and drinking for the evening. I do not have a menu, so if you need to Google medieval food, for a reference, go for it, or just pick something. I don't care.
Um,
Just go smoothies, okay? I was in a Zweihander game with smoothies, and it ruined my immersion.
oh, I gotta go last. Then no smoothies. Let me think about this.
No, I'm
What
just-
what time of day is it?
It's evening. I'd say probably about 7 to 8 p.m.
Okay.
Upon finding out that the passage upon the ship also prevents you a never-ending pasta bowl, I feel that Fleetfoot Mac is going to accept this bounty with open arms and proceed to dive into that never-ending breadstick basket.
Yeah.
So just getting that bread, dipping it into like the au jus or whatever brown soup that they offer on the side. Just taking like thick cuts of butter and,
You thought it was au jus, but turns out it was just fermented fish sauce. Still good either way. but
still good
totally
either
threw you
way. That's how you get that umami flavor. Just buttered on vegetables. I assume like potatoes and other like sturdy roots, boiled, baked, and or othered. Whatever food is present and available with this voucher, Fleetfoot Mac gonna snack.
Yeah, there's a whole potluck table set up that you just begin to raid vigorously. It's kind of alarming to some of the other people that are around you, I would imagine, but not the halflings, of course, they understand.
Yeah, this is just a seamless, very fluid process of food to maw. Only stopping every once in a while just to look behind the back, and then just kind of stare off in the middle distance, then just gorge and go back in.
Excellent.
Now, I have a question. How
Yeah.
good is Fleetfoot Mac at keeping the food out of his luxurious mustache?
Fleetfoot Mac has had his mustache longer than most people have had their
Mustache.
yeah. Fleetfoot Mac was stashed at a very young age. The stash remained. His youthful charm never faded. The bushier you get, it actually detracts from everything else. It's an aging absorber, if you will. So there is not a crumb, a speck, a fleck of food. All the scraps are going right in the face. And he also knows how to tie it in various methods so it stays out of food and drink.
When he's
Love it.
eating soups,
Oh yeah, you got to do the soup bandolier. Just
Oh, I love it.
We need to get you some mustache little charms to put in it one day, decorate it further. Little golden charms. All right, perfect. All right, so whoever
Kata?
wants to go next. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go. So Kata is looking around the tavern, and normally at fancy things where her food's compensated for her, she would go with like a meat pie or something like that. But lately, she's really started to enjoy this common food that she's been exposed to called lobster. It's the nobles call it trash food, but it's really quite delicious, and that's what she's ordered, while trying to ignore the grating woodwinds that are going on in the background.
No, I was listening. I had to say
You're
something
good.
to my partner, but yeah, no, that's amazing. Lobster. Yeah, there's plenty of lobster here. It's actually just at the bottom of the menu. There's like some lobster bisques and stuff like that, that are pretty cheap, but you don't have to pay for it. You just show them the voucher. So
Yeah, she's just ordered like a whole pile of lobster, basically.
oh, excellent, a bunch of tails.
Yeah, because it's like the cheap trash food during
For
this
sure.
era.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of things like that, surprisingly enough. Like, end up becoming fancy only because some people decided it was fancy. But perfect. Let's see. And what is she having to drink?
Oh, wine, of course.
Wine. Okay. Gotta complete the image. Sorry.
Is there
alright, whoever
anything
wants-
else to drink?
Yeah, I know, right? It's the only thing you could probably trust in a seaside shanty shack.
Precisely.
All right. All right. Whoever wants to go next, let us know what you ordered for food and what's your choice of drink as well for the evening.
Sure.
And any other happenings that may occur.
I can go next if that's
Go
all
for
right. Okay, so Cliff, first of all, he gets a lot of napkins, and then he requests an entire ham, an entire loaf of bread, a knife, and an entire head of lettuce. And then he cuts the ham, he rips the lettuce part, and he just makes just a bunch of sandwiches. And he
Is there
eats
no bread
one.
involved?
No, he makes it up.
I missed
it's
bread.
just a
Okay.
sandwich.
I thought he was
Just a-
just like I thought he was keto. You know. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
you know.
He also requests wine.
Okay. Excellent. Wide
And
red.
as he's sitting there, he eats a few, and he also tries to, talk to people nearby and be like, it's just better than it looks. Better than it looks, pal. You slide me silver, I can get you a hookup. Get my secret ingredient for ham.
Okay. Are you trying to
Ricardo
bargain
just
someone for a
Ricardo
secret
just
ingredient?
calls over and it's like, I hear the best ingredient for ham is pork.
Sure. Someone's like, I'll buy it. I'm a bit of a ham lover myself. What's this ingredient?
You're asking me to give away a trade secret.
Well, you got some on you?
I've always got it on me, friend.
Sauce or a dry rub or?
Yes, I've got it right here, and he actually does pull out an unmarked sort of like seasoning container.
Excellent. This guy just seems to be a local. It is like a taller elven fellow. Just kind of like a tall, lanky guy with looks like he might be a blacksmith. He's still got kind of like some charred clothing on, like an apron. But yeah, he's like, all right, go ahead and roll me a bargain test. Yeah,
Am I-
give yourself put it on routine at the top of your character sheet.
Sorry, I was on the wrong tab.
No, it's okay. Yeah, the difficulty rating chart. Just set it to routine and then roll a bargain.
Do I want high or low?
You want to roll below the rating. So low is good.
Okay.
Sorry, I meant to. I should have mentioned where bargain was. I just didn't have the sheet in front of me. I said I was going to do it and I missed it. Anyway, you critically succeeded on bargaining this guy for some seasoning, a secret ham ingredient. This guy, he tosses you 3 silver instead. He's like, "Look, man, I'm telling you, I'm a ham lover. So if this makes my experience with ham better, then it's worth it to me."
Well, prepare yourself for a ride.
All right, so he hold on one second. Goes and grabs a plate and frantically like piles on some different chunks of ham. Like has him a little corner with like a fat layer that he's like that's real crispy that he's ready to chow on. And even has like a chunk of pineapple on there as well, and then just holds it out to you.
All right. So what I'll say about the seasoning is it is a Cruskill family, like it's a family seasoning. I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. Oh, it's sort of like a adobo, where it's sort of an all-purpose seasoning.
Got you. Okay, that's good.
Sort of thing.
Like a 7
So-
spice or something.
Yeah, it's a genuine thing. He's just using it to make a profit.
I got you. Yeah. No, of course. Yeah.
So he's like rounded up himself and put it together. So we have.
Silver.
Well, here you
But,
go. And he happily gives him some seasoning.
Excellent. He lifts up a couple pieces of ham, lets you like sprinkle some down into the crevices and stuff too. So he's trying to get as much out of this 3 silver worth of sprinkle. And he's like, he's kind of a little upset he doesn't get the whole jar of seasoning, but he loves it.
Oh, I mean, he loves it. He loves
Yeah,
that much.
absolutely loves it. Oh, this is amazing.
I mean,
I'm gonna eat this slow, and I'm gonna try and figure out what's in that jar.
you know what? You gave me 3 silver. I feel a little bad. I'll give you half the recipe.
Half the recipe. All right, cool. 1 second. He pulls something to write down with out of his satchel that he has on his sack or his sack. Whoa, his side, and he yeah, and he just you two have this like whole moment where he's just like frantically jotting down, and then he tries to convince you to give him more ingredients, but doesn't manage it. All right. So who wants to go next and tell us a little bit about your night? Maybe what you ordered for food and drink.
I will.
All right. Go ahead, Nikki.
I have one question though before I start.
Okay. Of course.
Would she be allowed to put any food in her basket?
Yeah.
Okay.
I suppose with the amount that Fleetfoot is eating right now, it would be quite unfair to ask you to not save some for later.
Okay. For someone who looks so much like a urchin, a poor street urchin, she knows how to order nice things. She orders boar
Ooh.
with like glazed carrots and fancy butter
Ooh.
and like apple pie, and which apple pie did exist then. I saw like YouTube videos on it, and lots of fancy sauces that are like full of spices.
Excellent. No, that's perfect for this place too.
And she's ordering it, and she knows exactly what to order, and she's trying to like discreetly put stuff into her basket as she orders more.
Oh,
and it's just like she's pretty sure that somebody's going to stop her or not let her have this fancy food that she's never been able to try.
Oh yeah, and everyone just sort of cheerfully smiles at you as they eat their food as well, you know.
And she orders this it's like an expensive kind of old brandy that's full of spices and
Ooh, yeah, definitely.
things to drink. Like she's just going to eat until she can't eat anymore and store away as much as she can.
Also a halfling, so that's probably quite a bit. All right, cool. I absolutely love it.
Can Kata see Daisy ordering all of this food?
Of course.
And I think Kata's gonna lean over just as a kind sort of piece of advice, and just like word of advice: if you're going to eat so many rich foods, it's best to pace yourself. I have learned from experience. You eat too fast, you end up in the what do they call it? You don't call it watershed. What do you call it? Latrine. For a long time.
And Daisy will like nod and keep that in mind and just eat like a halfling would.
Sure thing.
Kata just gives her a smile and raises a glass of wine and sips it and just kind of goes about her business.
Halfling, full stomach. That's what I say. All right. Who wants to go next?
Oh, I guess I do.
it's just you.
So, oh yeah, I kind of got that impression by the extended silence. I was like, must be me. So Squire Flippa, what she does is, for the night, she really doesn't like to pay for a place to sleep, so she's not going to sleep in this inn. But for food, what she does is she sort of sidles up to like the family style tables where you only have to pay a very small amount to eat out of sort of the shared trenchers. And she occupies a spot. She just walks right up to the table. She doesn't need to sit down, so she's at the end. she's not trying to obstruct the aisleways, you know, but she's not trying to obstruct the aisleways. And yeah, she just chows down on like the cabbage and beans and, you know, coarse bread, and the barley water that is available at this very plain community table.
Yeah, it's actually right by the door too. Like, so, like the door's on. So if it's like cold out, like this is like the coldest spot to sit in the place
Yeah.
too, because they're right by the breeze.
If someone brushes up against her, she flicks her tail at them like they're a fly. You know.
I love that, and the way the tail's drawn in the art is like perfect for that mental
Yes.
image too. I can't wait. Awesome. I absolutely love that. All right. And so, okay. By this point, a couple of hours have passed, and the captain has come out of her private room, possibly about an hour prior to this point, and started mingling with people, of course. She has a very stern, tall voice, very commanding. That's not exactly an impression of it, but anyway. So, in the middle of the celebration, you hear a loud ting, ting, ting. You notice the ogre captain is slamming her dagger up against her steel mug that she's drinking out of, calling everyone's attention. By this point, there was an a cappella group up there that was in the middle of a song, and they're like forced to stop. They look really sad, but you know, they definitely don't want to piss off Captain Saltblade. This journey tomorrow will be one we always make with this crew, but that makes it no less perilous. So as I always say the night before we set out, enjoy the evening like it's your last, you ruffians! And the crowd yells in excitement and then chugs their mugs of alcohol with reckless abandon. And we will go ahead and go on a 10-minute break after that.
Awesome. Yeah, so we're gonna be right back in about 10 minutes. So feel free to stretch your legs, definitely hydrate, grab some snacks, but then come on back about 10 minutes later, and we'll be right back to find out more about this story. I'm excited. Be right back. All right, we're back.
Oh, yeah, we're back. Hey, look, we're playing In the Mouth of the Beast, below the beast mouth. It's on the Twitch thing. Look it up. Anyway, welcome back after break.
Yeah.
We last. I need a shirt that I'm gonna get a shirt. I don't even care if no one watches the show. I'm gonna get a shirt that just is all the different variations of the name, just in like one of those shirts that's got all the words that are like left on the left side. Anyway, you know the ones I'm talking about.
I have no idea what we're talking about, but it's cool.
I'll show you later.
Keep going. I'm making this merch.
All right. Anyway, so we last left off with just basic kind of introductions to the town, the characters, and sort of like what they're up to the day before leaving. And then we went through everyone's interesting day and asked them what they missed the most. And and then they made their way to the Rock Feather Inn, which is ROC, Rock the Giant Bird. Anyway, so they made their way to the inn to meet the crew of the Gallant Gale to essentially turn in like a ticket that they bought to permit travel on this merchant vessel to go from this continent all the way to another, across an inland sea. So they're essentially kind of just having like a welcome home party sort of thing, even though they plan on just setting out just the next morning. Of course, they're sailors. They want to, have a good time when they get back. So anyone that bought a ticket got like a food and drink and board voucher. So they're currently at the Rock Feather Inn, just enjoying exorbitant amounts of food, music, alcohol, all sorts of things. Smoke leaf, anything you can think of.
Shanties.
What?
Oh, shanties.
Yeah, lots of shanties. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, let's get this show viral. Shanties. Let's just say the word shanty about 6 more times. Maybe the algorithm will pick it up.
Shanties.
All right, quick, guys. Let's come up with one.
Shanty, Ja Rule.
Yep, Ja Rule.
I always love a good shanty.
All right. Now that we've kicked up the algorithm a bit, we can go ahead and we'll say throughout the night of mingling and enjoying the performances and eating, we'll say a couple of you have interactions with each other, and just for a bit of role playing, so not only the people playing the characters can get to know them a little more, but also the audience can get to know the characters. We'll go ahead and have people pair off for like a 5 or like a 5 or 10 minute little like role play session or so. So I'll just sort of randomly decide here. So we'll say Daisy and Kata, you have already kind of spoken to each other a bit earlier. So we'll say you two encounter each other. We'll say you encounter each other at a table that had some empty spaces for you to sit down. Otherwise, the tables are relatively full. And we'll say you both sort of, not really knowing anyone, sort of beeline towards this empty table as soon as the patrons get up and head out. And you sort of have this sort of awkward encounter with each other where you're both sort of like looking at each other like, are you going to sit down? Are you going to sit down? So I'll go ahead and start with you two in that scene.
Oh, look, here's a table with an open spot. Usually I don't have to look for an open spot. One just seems to always open up, but this one's already full of spots to sit.
Yes, it is full of open spots. I'm just going to look really sad because I'm so used to looking sad and getting pity from people.
Why you have Upside down smile. What do they call it? Frown.
Because I'm sorry. Because I am but a poor peasant girl. I'm sorry. I am but
Katya
the
just
poor
looks around.
peasant.
Is there an audience? Sounds like the opening to a play.
There isn't always an audience, ma'am.
I suppose this is true. Anyways, you were sharing story about your poor peasant life. And I
Yes.
interrupted, I am sorry.
Yes, I am a poor peasant, and I just need a few coins to get a small bite to eat. Would you please help, Mom?
Ordinarily, I would say, absolutely, but I just saw you scarf down like half a table's worth of food. I don't think you need any. I think you would get sick. I'm going to save you from yourself and say no.
All right, Mom. I'll be very, very sad. And I'll just like look sad and kind of display my missing hand.
Perhaps a nice, like, maybe a ginger beer. That should certainly help you digest all of that massive amounts of food that you just consumed.
Oh, yes, I appreciate that a lot. You have saved this poor peasant from her horrible fate.
There's a pony keg of ginger beer on a table nearby that hasn't been fully tapped yet.
What is Kata's, like, physical stuff looking like? Brawn? She's somewhat strong. She's just gonna try to pick up the little pony keg and just set it on the table right in front of Daisy.
Excellent. Yeah.
Does Daisy have a mug or something?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, she's gonna like get herself.
We'll say you stashed a mug in your basket.
Okay, and I'll just reach into it, and I'm really good for somebody with one hand. But I'm also good at like displaying the fact that I don't have one because that's what I used to beg with.
It's been your breadwinner.
Yes.
I think Kata, still drinking wine. Obviously noticing the act, is going to lean in a little bit, kind of conspiratorially, and looking around, making sure nobody's listening in too closely. Look, I'm not usually one to give unsolicited advice, but the whole poor peasant with the missing hand thing, your what is the word? Hustle? Could benefit from some subtlety.
Oh, okay. Are you familiar with this?
Well, you'll see, while I may appear like a noble, and clearly that's, and this is the accent, they normally speak the high language. I'm actually from the, what freaking class am I from? What was the name of it? The middle class?
Burger.
Oh, thank you. I'm actually from the burger class. The reason I don't sound like that is because I'm fairly good at getting my way. I know how to, how might you put it, manipulate.
Oh, well, yes, I definitely would like the lessons because, as you know, this is how I make my living.
Certainly. So I might try something like, maybe don't start with the, woe is me, I am poor peasant girl. Maybe start with something like, hello, how are you doing today, sir or ma'am, or any other title that you think they might use, and it's just some pleasantries, and then work your poverty into conversation. Let them notice the hand. Don't wave it in their face.
Yes, ma'am, it is a lovely day, isn't it?
See, you're doing great. It is a lovely day. Aside from those cursed woodwinds.
Oh, you don't like the music?
It's my ears, and she points to her ears, which look mostly human, but there's something a little bit off about them. Like I have how do you say, a higher range of hearing than most humans, and the woodwinds they mess with that.
If you shove some candle wax in them, you can block out a lot of sound and appear like you're deaf. Not
This
that
is
I've done
good
that
idea.
before.
I like the way you think. Also, I'm fine with the woodwinds. It's just Kata being Kata.
Oh no, I
So
had,
don't feel
I
like
had
you have to turn
different
those
tavern
off.
music. I had two
Okay.
tavern songs, all right? I wanted to change the music.
Okay, just make sure you were turning that off because of what I was saying.
Although this is Mountain Tavern, so pay no mind to the wind. That's just the mustache wind.
And Daisy will like take a little bit of candle out of her bag and like kind of demonstrate how she can plug her ears.
Oh, I
those
see.
Earplugs.
Yes.
This would also be good for blocking out what's the word? Snoring.
Yes.
I won't go into detail, but I tend to have to frequently hear snoring from loud well, we'll just call them people.
It blocks it out very, very well. You could pretend to get like you can't hear a thing.
This is good information. Thank you.
Oh, I am Daisy. It's nice to meet you.
Oh yes, where are my manners? I am Katanova. It's very nice to meet you.
Kata. Can
Nova.
I? Katanuva?
Nova.
Katanuva.
You're very close, but it's more of an O sound.
Kataniva?
No, you're going the wrong way. You know what? Just call me Kata. It's fine.
Kata. Okay, thank you.
It's quite all right. What brings you on this journey that we're going on? I saw the wristband. I presume you're going on the ship as well.
Yes, I bought my ticket and I'm going to go on a ship to wherever we're going because I completely know where we're going. Which obviously she doesn't. She just bought the ticket.
My
We're
music
going on a
finally-
journey.
Sorry, I was gonna
What?
say my music finally loaded in, so I realized there's no music. There's no actual music playing. So we'll say the band goes home for the night. In the middle of your conversation, they start packing up their instruments. Except for the
I'm sure
acapella
it's-
guys there.
The a cappella people are fine. They can do their thing.
Will they join us on the boat?
Yes, I also am taking Journey. I let's just say certain homes are no longer as welcoming as they used to be.
Yes, I would agree with you with that. But we're going on a journey and there will be new places, new homes, new people,
Kata just raises her wine and goes, "New marks."
new marks. And Daisy will brings her hand with her thing that holds the drink. A mug.
Yeah, mug. Yeah.
Perfect. And Kata will just sort of like daintily like ding her wine glass with the mug.
Awesome. And you two revel in the quiet and each other's company for a while there. We will say Flippa, Fleetfoot. That's gonna happen a lot, by the way.
Right.
Flippa, Fleetfoot, and Cliff. You all find yourselves at the bar, and the bartender is struggling in the back to do something, I guess, like tap a keg or something. So you've all just been waiting there for like an awkward amount of time, just sort of awkwardly in each other's company. Um, and it's you keep hearing the bartender go, it's just gonna be a minute. I'll get your drinks right up, I promise you.
Flippa's just drumming her fingers on the bar.
Any wine?
Yes, hey, Garish, go grab them a bottle, and then those people can split it while they wait on their drink order. Yeah, you got it, boss. And then this kind of big, burly human guy comes up with hairy knuckles and he just sits you down a wine bottle and 3 different like size glasses for each of you. The halfling getting the biggest size glass, and the ogre getting the smallest, daintiest size glass. And then he
Flippa
just sort
gets
of
a
walks
glass
off.
that is just right.
Yeah, exactly. And then the and the bartender's assistant, barkeep or whatever hell you call him, he just goes into the back room, and it just sounds like they're having a hassle trying to get this keg tapped, and there are other people around you kind of waiting as well, and they keep crowding in around you and sort of pushing you 3 closer and closer to one another. You know, if you've ever been to a bar, you know how that is when you're trying to order a drink. There's like 25 people at the bar. There's like one bartender. It's kind of like one of those situations. You're all sort of awkwardly shoved in close to one another. And we'll go ahead and let you guys break off and role play for a bit if you want.
Well, I'm gonna open up this wine and put it in this tiny glass, and then I'm going to shove the glass over to someone else.
Yeah, Flippa will turn and say, my good man, or ogre, could I interest you in trading glasses?
Absolutely. And I will, already filled with wine, I will pass my glass over. What I could only assume I would crush in my hand if I picked it up.
Yes. Slides hers over aggressively just to see if Cliff will catch it.
I reach out for it. I need to roll something to catch a glass.
No. Unless you want to. In which case, then yes, you can.
Unless I want to.
Yeah, coordination.
I'm going to go ahead and say that I make the save for the glass.
Yeah, that's fine. Right around this time, it seems like the keg has sprung a leak in the back room. Oh no.
You know, if I could leave a review, this would have 0 stars. I'll look over at Fleetfoot. Oh, sorry. Because I see he has this massive glass. Would you like that filled?
After seeing the bottle stop between Cliff and Flippa, Fleetfoot just nods. I'm not sure if you can quite hear his voice over the chatter and commotion of everyone else. So they just kind of motion, just like slide it on down.
All right. I will slide it further down.
And as it goes, since Flippa's in the middle, correct? As Flippa, Fleetfoot uses the end of his mustache to lasso the top of the bottleneck before it goes to the next person who's waiting for their turn. So it's just like a honk. And they bring it back over, just like whip it with their elbow out. So the bottle like tips over on his elbow just enough to pour into this massive glass with this tiny, like barely 4 foot tall childlike person just dipping this jug of Carlo Rossi and this mega jug, tips it back over seamlessly, and then elbows the bottle down to the next person. Holds up the big boy glass with two hands. Says, "I appreciate it, there, partner," and holds it up and like a cheers. Clunks it down on the bar top, nice and strong, like, then just tips the giant glass into their mouth, and using a cloth grabbed out of nowhere, just dabs the end of their mouth, and points over at the ogre at Cliff and says, "You work by the docks, right?"
Me? Yes, I'm sure that's where you must have seen me.
"Yeah, I've seen you there. By chance, you know this fella?" And I don't think they have pictures, so he just says, Stanley Duchovny.
Do I know a Stanley Duchovny?
Let's see. Roll, if you would like, to roll to see if you know Stanley Duchovny. There's an easy way to do that. There is a skill in the intelligence section called... Let's see. I guess you could either do folklore. I don't actually. That doesn't make any sense. Rumor, I think, is what you would probably roll to see if you know a Stanley Duchovny. It's in the fellowship stat at the bottom.
Okay.
And before you roll it,
I didn't.
Go ahead. You already rolled it. It's
I
okay.
didn't set my thing back to standard.
Oh, it's okay. You would have failed anyway. So it's real easy to just do the math in our head and bring it down to a 53. So you got a 64 over 53. So yeah, you don't seem to know a Stanley Duchovny. How about you, Flippa? You want to roll a rumor?
Oh, heck yeah.
See if you
Keep it
know Stan.
family friendly.
You could say the F word. It's fine. This is a horror game.
Fart.
Yeah, that's the word.
Got him.
Nope. I don't think that cuts it, right?
The roll's not popping up for me. What is it?
68 on a 40 rating.
Okay, yeah. There we go. It finally popped up for me. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, neither of them seem to know Stanley.
That's a shame. I was hoping someone over by the docks might have known, and I appreciate your help too, onlooker. Well, if you hear anything, and he takes his mustache and lassos it around the mug and gets it over like this to kind of carry it like a giant barrel on his back. Says, "Well, if you hear anything, make sure you let me know. I'll see you on the ship probably, right?"
Why would... I'm sorry. I'm sure you're a professional, but why would we hear something about this guy on the ship?
Happy you asked. He takes the glass back from his back and puts it down on the bar top. You see, about a couple of weeks ago, Stanley Duchovny was supposed to make an appearance before some nobles. Supposed to get a slap on the wrist for something he did. Turns out, Stanley had his fingers a lot more messier than he let on. If you catch my drift.
I think I do.
So, what would someone do in that position, you'd ask? You're facing the law, being accountable for the actions that you took. Well, Stanley, being someone of means and able to do so, hired someone to take the fall for him. Turns out, good kid ended up doing it. Just needed the money. It takes a huge swig from this giant glass, and it's like almost gone.
Yeah, that is a fascinating story. What was the offense?
Funny you should say that. It was supposed to be fencing, but when they found out what they were fencing, that's when the story took a dark turn. And he just finishes off the rest of the glass and puts it back on. The only lead I had was folks who ran by the docks. Hopefully they could tie up those loose ends for me. Well, he just stretches out, and his mustache stretches too. Looks like I can put in some more bread in my belly. Oh, hope you don't mind me. And he just kind of repels himself from the bar top with his mustache off the bar stool.
Wow.
Let me know if you hear anything, he says through the crowd of people as he disappears, which is like a trail of mustache going into the crowd.
So yeah, Flippa and Cliff, you're just sort of staring at each other like, what the fuck just happened?
That was strange, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Strange fellow, that one.
So you're also traveling tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Where do you hail from?
Good question.
Should I make something up?
Now here, I will move you to the map, basically, if you want to just pick something around there.
Okay, let me just.
Asking the hard questions.
I did not have this planned before.
There's a couple of kingdoms on this thing here, a couple of larger city names you could use.
Cragwell sounds like a place an ogre could be from.
Could you click it? Bloop. Oh, Cragwell. Yep, right there. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yep, you hail from Cragwell of the Kingdom of Kalos. Kalos.
Sorry, I've yet to introduce myself. My name is Cliff Cruskill, CC to my friends, and Clifford to my enemies.
All right. Well, Cliff, I am Squire Flippa of Kalos, and I've actually did you say Cragwell out loud? I just
sorry,
want
yeah.
to be sure.
From Cragwell.
I've actually been near Cragwell a few times. It's a nice enough area, I suppose. Well, exciting to, I guess, or comforting to go on this trip with a fellow Colossian or Calesian, depending on where you're from. Yeah.
Back
Cool.
to that north and south debate again, you know.
Yeah.
As far as Cragwell is concerned, it is a town of a population of 1,510. There's really not too much of note there, other than like a strong community of ogre.
Who is your lord or lady?
Oh, I prescribe to no lord or lady.
Oh, anarchy. I see.
I'm sort of my own man.
You hear the word anarchy through the crowd, Raven.
I was literally just typing
Kata.
something. I was like, somewhere Kata's ears perk up. Anarchy? I heard my favorite word. Where did that come from?
Can't quite pinpoint it. you see a gnome carrying a mug over his, or not a gnome, a halfling carrying a mug over his back with a mustache strapped around it. Walk past you as you're trying to pinpoint the word.
This is most unusual sight. But anyway, back to our friends.
All right, excellent. So everyone just sort of kills a little bit more time, probably I'd say probably another about a half an hour before you're all collected by another halfling dressed in a red and blue tunic with brown pants and some tall boots. He's about 3'5", a hardy little fellow with like a pretty thick beard and mustache. Almost looks like a little dwarf. and just with how decorated his beard is, he seems to take pride in it. He comes up and he's like, "Well, hello. The captain would like to meet you. If you don't mind following me to the back room, I need to gather up a few more of our passengers. We'll just do it all at one go. She's ready for bed." And then I assume let's say he gathers up Flippa and Cliff first. Pushes his way through the crowd pretty easily. People recognize him as you even have a couple of people go, "Sorry, boatswain, sorry." So it's obviously the boatswain of the ship, and it takes you over to the table where Kata and Daisy are sitting, and then rounds them up, and then pushes through the crowd with you all trailing behind him, and interrupts the halfling investigator in the middle of questioning someone about Stanley. I forgot his last name already.
Stanley Duchovny.
Stanley Duchovny. Yes, you're questioning someone about Stanley, and you're told by the boatswain to follow you to come and meet the captain and make sure to bring your ticket. And so you're brought to a back room, like almost like a private party area, and there is a kind of like a faint hum of a fiddle. Someone seems to be sort of just practicing in the back room, and you go through like this hallway and into the private room, and you see there's sorry, let me pull up my crew sheet. You see Harriet Saltblade, the captain. She's about 8'1", very muscular build. She's got her hat sitting on her knee. While she's sitting there, she looks like she's knitting something, like some sort of pouch or something. Well, not knitting, sewing. She's like repairing like a leather pouch. And sitting next to her is the tall a tall human, not tall compared to her, but a tall human. He's in the corner, basically like setting people's gear up out of the way for the group of you to come in. He's got a long hair and back in a ponytail and a peg leg. You also see an a more androgynous looking like elven sailor. They're like kind of hanging out with the captain, like basically just chatting with her while she's like repairing the pouch, the leather pouch. And you also see a halfling jotting things down in a book. She's a little bit. She's actually shorter than Daisy's character. She's got blonde hair and like these like faint green eyes, and she's pretty much like writing things down in like a tome. And she seems to have like blood stains on her outfit, which tells you she might be the ship's surgeon. Seems that she's taking medical notes and doing a little anatomical drawings as well in her book. And there's also a something you don't see very often is a skurzak, which is like a rat folk. You see a skurzak just sitting on the floor in the middle, painting something beautiful. And when you get a closer look, they're just painting the captain while they're painting the captain sewing the pouch like as it's happening basically, and they're doing it very fast, like their hands are like moving very quick and frantically, like you would expect a little rat's hands to move. But the boatswain, whose name you got, Percy Prattstone. Percy speaks up, says, "Hey everyone, I brought in the passengers, the ones you wanted to meet, Captain." And she says, "Oh, thank you, Percy. Thank you very much. Well, everyone, we've cleared enough room out for you. Have a seat, please." Just waits for you all to have a seat.
Uh, is the or I should say, Kata's going to look for the closest seat to the captain.
Oh yeah, excellent. We'll say that there's the couch sort of that they're sitting on has an end space that's empty for you.
Okay. Kata will go over and sit there and just look directly at the captain and go, "Well, thank you. It's very kind of you."
She nods. Her eyes, I forget what color her eyes are. I'm not gonna say, but her eyes just sort of peer into your soul, with a sense of almost like a hearty kindness. She's like one of those like really chummy sailor types, um, and I assume the rest of you find. Anyone have any particular seating arrangements? All right. Everyone finds
Just always pointing out that Flippa does not sit.
That's right. You're like a four-legged horse or a camel. They probably just
Yeah.
lift your back leg up to rest it, and then occasionally put it down and then lift another one up.
Yes.
And when you're
Daisy-
sleeping, it's the same thing. That's great.
Daisy looks for a high seat, something where her feet don't touch the ground.
Oh, you find one. It seems to be a seat made for larger types like orcs and ogres and stuff. So
But yeah, she's definitely going to climb into it, so it looks too big for her.
That
All right.
actually brings up a good question. We're on the ship now, right?
Oh, sorry. No, you are
Did
sorry, you're in the Rock Feather Inn still in a back.
Oh, we're
room.
still in the inn. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
You're
I
no,
was-
it's okay. Yeah.
I was starting to
The-
think like, oh wait, how tall are the rooms in this ship? Because
Oh,
that
yeah,
might
no,
cause a problem.
Oh, I know for sure. The ship is docked actually probably about a block down the street towards the docks. This is actually this inn is very close to the docks. So,
Okay.
but yes, everyone gets settled in, and the captain sort of speaks up. Well, I just wanted to meet. Sorry, I keep forgetting her accent. Just wanted to meet all of you and get an idea of who's going to be on my ship. If you don't mind, go around the room. I'll introduce myself and all of my crewmates here, and then we'll start one by one with each of you, and you can introduce yourselves, because I feel like a name is the best place to start. I am Captain Harriet Saltblade III. Just call me Captain. It's the easiest. Don't call me Harriet. Yeah, just don't do it, especially if you're on my ship. This here, this fellow who was so kindly enough to move all of our things out of the way so you could have a place to sit, which was the tall fellow who was packing up everything in the corner, the human. This is Lyro Fishman, and he just sort of nods and, hello, nice to meet you all. This here's my first mate, Carolyn Vautier, and Carolyn is the more androgynous looking sailor that was sitting right to the side of the captain, conversing with her as you walked in. and they speak up and say, "Good to meet you all." And this hero, the man that walked you in, as you met already, I'm sure, Percy Prentstone, best boatswain you can have.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Captain. Take quite a lot of pride, me job.
And down here, painting this somehow beautiful picture of me. How do you always manage to find my good angles? I don't know. This is Kai Vol.
Yes, nice to meet you. Kaival.
Could
And that's the
Kata
Skurzak.
interject? Could
Yeah, go
Kata
ahead.
interject something right there?
Yeah.
After the captain says, how do you? I don't know how if I managed to find my good angles. Kata just sort of leans over since she's somewhat close to the captain, in proximity, and goes, "I don't think it's so hard to find the good angles." Just
She actually kind of cracks
throwing
a
a little
smile.
flirt out there.
Yeah, she cracks a bit of a smile. She's if you were one of her crew, she'd probably smack you, but you're a nicely dressed guest as far as she's concerned for now. And then and over here, buried in her notes, is Coronet Stahl. Nice to meet you. Make sure you're all safe when you're on my ship now. I don't want to have to go sewing you up. Well, now that the captain speaks, well, now that we've introduced ourselves, can you please introduce yours?
I would be absolutely glad to. My name is Cliff Cruskill. CC to my friends and Clifford to my enemies. And must I say, it is my absolute pleasure to be surrounded by so many pivotal individuals on this journey. It makes me feel the very peak of safety, and the company is truly irreplaceable.
Very well. Very good introduction, then. I'm quite happy to meet you. Looking forward to you being on my ship.
Well, thank you. I'm absolutely charmed.
She looks over to the mustachioed investigator.
Who is looking at the captain as well. And they share a quick sort of moment where their eyes meet. And I'm not sure how to do this exactly, but I want to scrutinize the captain.
Scrutinize the captain. All right,
Yeah.
that's fine. Fine by me. All right, roll a scrutinize in the perception, I think, section.
Okay, and the situation modifier would be
Let's say we'll say that her guard's kind of down. She's in relaxed company, so put yourself
Trivial.
at trivial plus 10.
all right.
All right, and okay, you passed. A 90, under a 90. That's exactly what you needed.
Yeah. Yes. What is that determined for me, and or I can give you more information about what I'm scrutinizing.
Scrutinize. You can tell that she is comfortable, feels safe based on the skill and ability of the people she's surrounded by. She's with her. What's the word? There was a whole entourage. There was a whole show about it. She's with her entourage, so she feels comfortable.
She's surrounded by turtles.
Yeah. Anyway, she is genuinely interested to meet you all but you can tell it's mainly because she's trying to. You can tell she's scrutinizing the shit out of all of you right now. Like when you take a moment to observe her, she's definitely observing people for their body language by sort of looking them up and down. You see the occasional nod, like to her crewmate that's sitting next to her, her first mate, Kara. You see the occasional nod to Kara, and yeah, so she's definitely kind of, while I would say comfortable, definitely there's definitely a barrier of trust that you can kind of sort of see through based on the way that she's acting. And you also notice that she's very battle scarred for a captain of a merchant ship.
Physically or emotionally?
Definitely, you got to get to know her a little first before you can tell if it's emotional battle scarring, but definitely physical. Like she reaches over to like grab like a piece of meat and cheese off the little charcuterie tray sitting in the middle, and you see like a large cut, almost could have been from like a scimitar that like seems like it would have even almost severed her arm. It looks pretty bad, like the scar. But yeah, she's her and her crew are very, very hardened and well worn for merchants. But that could just be that the sea is very hard to traverse, and it needs hardened people to, be able to keep up with the dangers.
I'm Fleetfoot Mac. Happy to be accepted and boarded upon your vessel. The food was delicious. The drink was scarce. I hope for all of us to have a safe and fortuitous journey. And if anyone has seen or heard about the whereabouts of Stanley Duchovny, you let me know.
Well, you heard him. Any of you know a Stanley Duchovny?
No, boss. No Stanley Duchovny. Rackvall knows no Stanley.
All right. That's all.
Excellent. And they just sort of look over at you, Flippa, as you're trying to adjust yourself in the corner. Like, so you don't really have much room to stand, so you just like awkwardly look up, like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, she leaves her back right leg up because there's just not quite enough to put all four on the floor. It's not quite enough space, but she still tries to straighten up when the captain's attention's on her, and she says, "Captain of the fair gallant gale, I am Squire Flippa of Kalos, and it is my honor to travel aboard your vessel."
Oh, the honor is all mine to have a squire on board, in case we get boarded by pirates. That's actually not much of a joke. It's
Do you think it
quite
will
a risk.
happen?
It could. Well, just keep your sword sharp, or whatever it is that you use.
Oh, I will.
All right. Look over to Daisy. I believe we haven't introduced Daisy yet.
Hi, I am Daisy Flora, and I just am a passenger on this journey.
Yes, indeed you are. That's why you paid for the ticket in your hand there. Okay. I hope to get to know you more, Daisy. You are. You seem like you have a story to tell.
Oh no, I'm just an orphan.
Well, orphans have stories just like anyone else.
Just a poor orphan from, I forgot where I'm from.
We could say
Somewhere.
Yeah, you could just if you want to just pick a city around here for next time, you can put it on your character sheet or something. Just somewhere.
For now, I'm just from the woods beyond the mountain.
Excellent. That works perfect. For those watching, this is a randomly generated map. There's not much to it. We're just sort of winging it, and I just needed one continent and to be able to draw a line through more than anything. But yeah, Uh, but yeah, but yeah, if you want to look around on the map, Nikki, for next time, you can grab. Just same goes for any of you. You can just grab a little city or something, or a nation or something. Just keep it on this continent, just so it sort of makes sense that you're traveling from here. But yeah, so and then who has not introduced themselves? Is that everyone? I believe
Kata hasn't yet.
Kata has it. Okay, sorry. All right. She looks over to you and actually kind of like grins a bit, remembering your flirtatious nature, and
I have a question. Is there a role that I would make or something like that to know if Kata knows of a Stanley Duchovny?
Anybody that is just now hearing the name Stanley Duchovny, you can roll a rumor test. Except roll a rumor test.
All right.
I'm assuming Stanley, and because I'm not giving you any penalties, we'll say Stanley's pretty well known. Well, no, not that well known, I guess. Never heard of him.
So I rolled a 71 and my rating is 46. That's a fail, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Your goal is to get 46 or less.
Gotcha. So no, I do not know this Stanley person. Okay, so yeah, being the only one left to need to introduce herself, Kata will look over to the captain and go, "Oh yes, I'm. Hello, my name is Kata Nova. You can call me Kata. I am something of a well, I think they call it a socialite, but I spend my time helping nobles with their problems. Something of a consultant, I guess you could say. Um, it is very nice to meet you, and I'm very pleased to be making this journey with such pleasant sailors.
It is, again, pleasure's all mine. We you, you say you deal in nobles. Well, you
More
would be
like I
happy
deal with nobles, but
to
yes.
deal with nobles. Well, then you'll have plenty to deal with where we're going. I might actually even get your help. You see, when we dock, they always come down there with their goons and their clubs and just make a mess of things on my ship, looking for stolen goods and all this stuff. We might have to get you to help us negotiate with them then, if they're your kind of people, because trust me, none of my crew know anything about nobility, nor do they care to know anything. So,
They're
but yes,
much like fancy
go ahead.
children, but perhaps I could be of some assistance, and I'm sure we could work out some sort of arrangement. And she just sort of gives a little wink to the captain.
She nods back.
Well, it's good to meet all of you. And one thing I just want to say outright, we brought you here, obviously, to not only meet you, but to make you a bit of an offer. You see, uh, three of our deck laborers that we hired in Reykjavik,
Which is the place you're headed, which I will actually mark on the map. There we go. It's an 11-day sea journey across the inland sea.
three deck laborers we recruited from Reykjavik our last time there a couple weeks ago. They were found dead in their rooms this morning here in the inn. Please don't mention it to any of the other party goers, but something we're trying to us and the rest of the crew, or myself and the rest of the crew, are trying to keep on the hush. So, because we don't really have time to vet anyone else, wondering if you would be okay with a refund on your ticket. This is offer extended to each of you, even those of the smallest of you. we would refund your ticket for just some labor assistance along our journey. Pull a line here and there. Maybe help clean up the deck every now and then. You would mostly be directed by our boatswain here and the rest of the crew. They will be informed of our agreement. But I would gladly refund the 3 gold crowns to each of you in exchange for your assistance on this journey. Now, keep in mind, you can say no. If all of you say no, the crew might not necessarily be in the greatest of moods, having to make up for 3 missing deck laborers, but we will make it there in one piece, regardless. I assure you. I hope.
This is interesting offer. I'm sorry to say I don't appear to have the proper apparel for such a task. Perhaps I could help out with something in advisory role, something like a supervisor. I'm quite good at organizing labor.
Well, I don't necessarily know about any supervision that we would need you to do, but saying the word supervisor did make me think of soup, and we could use the cook is always asking for assistance.
I am
plenty of
quite skilled
aprons.
in. I am quite skilled in the culinary arts. I suppose I could help there.
Well, then you'll definitely want to speak to Lena Fireforge. She's possibly attached at the mouth at the keg outside in the main room. You could probably find her there. She's a dwarf, of course, so she can hold her liquor better than most.
Daisy's
good to know.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. But Daisy's gonna hold up her hand that's gone and be like, I can't do very much, but I'll help where I can.
Excellent. Okay. Anyone else willing to take this offer? Otherwise, you'll just be a passenger on the ship if you choose not to, which is fine within itself. That was our original agreement.
Just so I'm completely on the right page, there was a murder that you're keeping quiet, and you want us to hire us to replace the murdered crewmates. Stop me if any of this is wrong.
Well, I don't necessarily know if they were murdered. It could have been some sort of affliction. It's very strange. I don't necessarily know if I can explain it well enough to put it into words.
There was an affliction upon the ship where 3 of your crewmates died. You want us to work on the ship.
I don't necessarily know if it was a physical affliction. Okay, listen. The strangest thing, they were found in their rooms this morning, with water in their lungs and mouths, but they were completely dry, as well as their bed sheets.
They were drunk.
This
I believe
perhaps
they had drowned, but they were completely dry, which is the strange part.
So they
this
didn't
would
drink.
Sorry. Koch is just going to address to Fleetfoot, actually. This would suggest they were drowned and the bodies were moved back to their quarters. Yes?
It is possible, but no one saw them leave their rooms when they went in last night, and we keep guards here in the hallway all night. Trustworthy ones, too. Braun Borg, in fact, is possibly one of the best guards one of the best strikers we've ever had on this boat.
Well, I will not be turning back. I am not afraid. I will take you up on your offer, Captain, provided I can work on the deck in case we're boarded by pirates.
Oh, it would be great to have an extra hand there then, one that is well versed in battle.
Flippa lets that one slide. Well versed, yes.
Working on it.
Trained. No.
uh, but yes, I don't know if I can explain it. They went to bed perfectly fine and woke up drowned and dry as a tub of salt.
And
Perhaps our Go ahead. You go ahead. Kato's literally just about to say, perhaps our mustachioed inspector friend could shed some light on this.
I mean, it sounds like the captain has a pretty open and shut case, right? They don't know how they drowned, but they were drowned. Surely not an affliction, but they were afflicted. Unfortunately, I am a man of land, and sea and I do not get along the best. I work pretty well as a passenger, not so much as a non-passenger. Thank you for the offer, but I will make sure that the money spent for this trip goes to, and just starts pointing to all of the crewmates that were introduced by the captain, Kara and Rival and the rest of them.
Excellent. They all like kind of nod their heads. Yeah, I like this guy.
Well, so it leaves just anyone else want to take up the offer? Or was that everyone out of game, out of character? I think that was.
I think so.
Okay. Well, I suppose it's getting late, and we have an early departure date. So hopefully you haven't all drank too much. I imagine I'll be heading in soon. So, Lyro here can direct you to your rooms. He procured them for you earlier. You come with me.
Daisy's going to follow, but she's going to be suddenly really clumsy.
Okay. Oh no.
Kata.
Oops, I can't hold anything.
I think Kata's going to shoot her shot here and try to say something along the lines of like perhaps before you turn in, we could discuss dealing with those nobles in the other port, something along those lines. That's sort of like a flimsy pretext to spending more time with the captain.
She doesn't seem to quite pick up on it, and she's like, I will have plenty of time to talk. Do you even know what a captain does on a ship? Just about nothing. I don't drive it. I don't pilot it. I don't cook food. I don't pull lines. I don't really do much of anything. Just sort of tell people what to do. So we'll have plenty of time to talk. Don't worry.
So you're saying you're sort of a noble for ships?
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Kata just gives us a sort of like this interesting
we don't really like nobles. We don't really like nobles on the Galliot Gale. They just tax our wares and constantly give us shit for what we're carrying. So
that little glint that people get in their eye, like if you were to have a pyro character and they just heard that there's a tinderbox, waiting around the corner. That's sort of the glint Kata gets in her eye.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's.
But she leaves it alone, just because that's sort of like, huh, interesting. I see. Sort of look on her face as she walks away.
Yeah, and that's actually why the quartermaster exists is because the politics between the crew and the captain have like a mediator.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely some drama on pirate ships. They specifically have like the peacekeeper role.
You guys unionized yet?
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna go kill some nobles.
Yeah, so the quartermaster's like HR for the oh, did I say pirate ship? I mean merchant ship. It's quartermaster.
We didn't hear that at all.
Merchant ship.
Merchant ship. But yes, so you're all basically escorted back to your rooms. You're settled down with your things in the corner. You each have your own room. And you dress down into your jams, which I have that written in my notes actually. Then you lay your head on your pillow, thinking about the future ahead, and judging by the conversation tonight, whether or not you'll actually survive it. And so we will go ahead and end our session there. It's 4 minutes. Yeah, I did it. Awesome. Yeah, we'll go ahead and end it there, and we'll pick back up next week with basically waking up and getting on the ship. And
Awesome.
And let's see, end of the episode stuff. I will. Oh, I had explained reputation points. Okay, so I explained that earlier a little bit, but just in case no one was here, your reputation points are going to be equal to your fate points for now. But once you like complete things, you'll gain reputation. Reputation points can be spent for I forget what the word is, acquisitions or something. I think is the word. But you can spend reputation points to get stuff. So you like some societal favors or like stuff from like maybe a contact owes you a favor because or something. I don't know. There's various things. We'll definitely look into that more next time.
Swag bags, some events.
Yeah.
You know, discount keys for Steam, a bunch of Steam cards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Free deluxe hands.
Get a Yeti microphone.
Yeti, yeah. Doing a giveaway. All right. And so everybody, I will go ahead and give 100 XP just for showing up.
Where
And
does this go on our character sheet, by the way?
this will go on your current XP and total XP in the talent, or not talents. Sorry, let me open up my example sheet, and that will make things easier. The rewards and tier section, there is reward points. That's what they're called, reward points, not XP.
Okay.
So you should have 0 current reward points and 1,000 total reward points going into this. But I'm going to give you all 200 total for this session. 100 for showing up, 50 for all of the great character role playing, and another 50 for all of the great group storytelling that you all did.
And we can spend it right away.
Yeah, you can spend it right away. And so everyone should have 200 current reward points and 1,200 total reward points. So you always want to up the total and just keep it going. That way we have a something to help us all stay on the same page. So if someone has to miss a session and they come back in, I can be like, wait, what's our total reward points? And we can just bring them up to speed, basically. Oh, and I will actually keep it on my example sheet. That'll be an even easier way. 1,200 total. So, and each dot is 100 points. And if you want to buy a focus, which is, like I said, like a specialty. So like if you like want to specialize in your weapon, you could take that as a focus. That costs 100 as well, unless you have that little black check mark in, and then it only costs 50. So that black check mark is like your favored primary attribute. So like I believe like Flippa has combat as her favorite. So any skill within combat that she wanted to put a skill focus on would only cost 50 XP instead of 100. But anyway, those are the only two things you can really spend XP on. So
okay, cool.
Yeah. And I think there's a rule for spending like twice the amount of XP to pick a skill that's not in your profession. I'll look into that though, but that'll be something for later, I think. but yeah, so we'll go ahead and call it there. Everyone gets 200 XP for today, and no reputation points for now, but you'll probably gain some after the journey's over. And
Right.
just for a roadmap for the viewers and the players, it it seems like you're leading into like a full-on nautical ship journey type show, but I do intend on having the ship journey end at some point, and it was we actually make it, if we make it to the other side of the continent or wherever we end up. So
If these particular characters make it.
exactly.
If we happen
So,
to live, guys.
yeah. So basically, I don't want you to think going in, oh, this is another one of those nautical campaigns. It's just kind of starting off as one, and then it's gonna tap into some other themes as we go along.
Well, you know
So
the rules. If our original character dies, we get to import our 5e level 6 character. So
yeah, exactly. Yep. 5 you roll d20. You roll you. We're gonna just use mechanics for that character and everything. So you only roll d20s. So.
My character dies. Can I play her identical twin that nobody knew about?
Just missing the opposite side.
I
hand.
would normally say
Yes.
no, but your character's so cute. Almost yes, sure.
This is Tulip.
Yeah, Tulip Flora.
That's her name now, Tulip. She has an identical twin sister named
Yeah.
Tulip.
Hey, and maybe Tulip lives on the other continent. We might meet her one day. Who knows?
Yes, exactly.
Oh
Awesome.
my god.
Well, I had a really good
Um,
time, and so I'll go ahead and let you wrap things up, Raven.
Yeah, so we're gonna go on a raid. If you have ideas for our raid cry, go ahead and throw those in chat now. But before we head over, we're gonna let everybody say what their favorite part was about the session, where we can find them next, and anything else they'd like to share or plug. Let's start with Leland. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you? And anything you'd like to share?
Well, obvious my favorite part is just like you all playing in this like show of mine, which is super cool, or show of ours. I hate saying mine. Every time I'll type it in on Twitter, and I'll be like my show, and I'm like no, our show.
It's okay.
Our
You
show.
can say your show too.
But it's okay. But I'm just super glad you're all here in this group, like, and you all mesh super well, and you know and everybody's got good character potential for just everybody becoming my favorite. I can already tell. Granted, I may have a crush on Crustkill, but that's just because the art. I'm just kidding. It's also the scamming within like the first damn thing out of his mouth is a scam. It just is so perfect for his character. That was great. So I'd say that's probably my favorite part is the spice blend scam from the fence, because the whole time I was putting this character sheet in today, I was like, the fence is gonna be cool. I'm gonna have to like kind of come up with some unique things for the fence so that it can get some use out of the fencing career and stuff. But then just right out of the gate, Lance just does it for himself. Starts his salt or his spice blend scam. I didn't even have to come up with anything yet for the scams to start. So I love that.
Real
And you
quick,
can go ahead.
thanks Nerds with Dice for that raid, coming in with a party of 6. We're also getting ready to raid, but very glad to have you here. You can hear the highlights of the session because we're going around talking about our favorite parts.
Stick around and join like a bigger raiding party and then go raid somewhere else. That's how raiding parties work. They just sort of mesh.
We're just gonna get bigger and bigger raiding parties as we end our
for
streams.
sure. Oh, that happens
Sorry,
a
go
lot
ahead.
though. People you generally raid towards the end of our games. But
Yeah.
all right. So and you can find me where you can find me next. I am on a show on this channel again on Tuesdays at the same time slot, 7 p.m. Central or 6 p.m. Mountain. Convert it if you're somewhere else. I don't give a shit. Use Google. But that's a super fun one. Raven's running it for us. It's a Subnautica esque survival role playing game where we. It honestly kind of reminds me of this. We didn't make random characters, but it is dangerous. It's like another dangerous game with a lot of water everywhere. So there's a lot of water-based danger on this channel this season.
There is.
So yeah, and that's a fun one because we're on an alien planet with tons of giant alien creatures trying to eat us. So yeah, come and check that out. I play Lyle. Forgot his last name. He is the keeper of the duck. And if you want to know what keeper of the duck means, just watch the show or something because it's great. But yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, at Leopold the Just on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Steam and LinkedIn.
Awesome. Also, I'm just gonna put it in here because that's the perfect segue. So Water is built on Fundamental RPG Second Edition, which Fundamental RPG is one of our sponsors. You can see in chat right now because, as luck would have it, the timed message just came up, so that's a perfect time to talk about it. You can pre-order Second Edition at coffee.com/raven/shop. You can also check out Intrepid, which is another one of our sponsors, which is IRL adventuring gear. So outdoors wear, athletics wear, casual stuff as well, and accessories, all with like a tabletop theme. You can find that there. And then Grinding Coffee Company, if you go to grindingcoffee.co and use the code RAVEN, you can get 10% off your order. And they do roast their coffee right before they ship it, so it's super, super fresh. Those are the sponsors for today's episode, once more. And then we'll hop over to Nikki. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? And anything else you'd like to share?
There were a lot of favorite parts. This whole thing was just a ton of fun. I liked when we all got to RP with each other at the tables. We kind of got to learn about the characters. And like I said, I liked everything. And I am on again on Action Fiction on Sunday, and all of next week I'm somewhere. I'm going to put a schedule up on my Twitter at Nick Cool.
Yeah, making it this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's it for me.
All right. I'm gonna go last, so we'll hop over to Stace. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? And anything else you want to share?
I have to say that I loved the interaction between Kata and Daisy to start. Just thought that was so rich, and you guys fell into it so well. That was really enjoyable. I think you established your characters really quickly, and
Thank
clearly
you.
had a strong idea in mind. So I love that. As far as me, I'm around these parts as Stace Windu, also on Twitter at Stace Windu. If you like mostly retweets and mediocre drunken 2 a.m. tweets scheduled in buffer for the next day, I'm your girl. Otherwise, you can find me on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, my weekly Numenera actual play podcast drops. It's called Explorers Wanted. I play Nyx, a monk-like fighter. Cypher System doesn't have monks, but very similar. So go ahead and head on over there and check it out. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. And otherwise, you'll see me here, same bat time, same bat channel.
Awesome. Now we'll hop back over to Nathan. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? And anything else you want to share?
My favorite part was definitely hearing about the up and rising Doc Kingpin Cliff Crushkill and his machinations and inner workings. I see you. I see what's happening. I love it. I like that. And I am excited to explore all these other characters y'all have created and put together. You can find me here. You can also find me on a bunch of different other streams. You can check my Twitter, What Is Kiss, for more information about that, to see what I'm doing. Hop in Discords to do watch-alongs and discourse with me and other folks. I also got an OnlyFans too. You can look at my butt. Find out more on the internet.
I love the way you put that.
Just follow him on Instagram for the freebies.
But yeah, fantastic. Next, we'll hop over to Par. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you? And anything else you want to share?
My favorite part of this game is a minute before my character introduction, when I remembered that the game Dream Daddy existed and that my character's portrait looks like it's just from that universe.
I'm definitely gonna tell the artist that he will love that.
I'm just, I'm kidding. My favorite part is yeah, I think my favorite part is just the small, just every small bit of character building so far. Just all the little storytelling exercises we have baked in there. I think have really, you know, I think shone a bit of a light on our characters already and who they are. So really into that, really liked it. You can find me here on Twitch at Mr. Parr. You can see me say hello in the chat. And you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Parr 4E. Spelled out Mr. Parr 4E. And I think that's me wrapped.
I tried to do an E and then the Nazi thing came out and I was like, oh no, that's not it. And then, how do you do it?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, 4E. There we go.
If I remember right, this I think is the sign language for the letter E.
Oh yeah.
So
all right. Well,
that's an option too.
come on, American public schools could have learned that instead of cursive and a bunch of other crap you taught me. I'm just saying. But anyway.
Also, we now need a fantasy version of Dream Daddy. So
oh yeah,
if this somehow reaches, Aaron and them and the people that made Dream Daddy, fantasy version.
Yeah,
let's jump on it. But my favorite part, it's hard to pick one because the whole thing was a lot of fun. I also really enjoyed the conversation with Kata and Daisy, and just how sort of naturally that whole thing flowed. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the conversation with Flippa and Cliff and Fleetfoot, and now I'm dying to know the mystery of Stanley Duchovny as well. So that was great. I loved the way Stace kept reminding us, like, and by the way, Flippa, it doesn't sit down. Just visualizing that in my head was amazing. It was a lot of fun. Cliff's, seasoning blend scam was great. So many things. They were all fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I also am enjoying getting to know my character because I wasn't really sure how I was going to play her until right before we started. So it's been pretty fun. I like this character a lot. I'm digging it.
I will say that's actually one of the reasons why one of my main ways to introduce a game that I'm running is to do all of these role-playing exercises, because I myself hardly ever know what I'm doing until after I've already started either, and I'm like, this might be helpful for me. It'd be helpful for other people too.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, those are all my favorite parts. You can find me next. I'll be producing Time Travelers at noon Mountain Time tomorrow, which is a Monster of the Week game about time travel and weird Cthulhu-type monsters in the void. And it's really weird and it's really cool. You should definitely check it out. And then I'll be GMing Animus Absentus at 6 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow as well, which is always a great time. We're in season 3 now of that show. And we just found out one of the crew, it looks like they might actually have been a clone, not actually like born. And there might be some sort of device like in them somewhere that does something they don't know. It was a lot of weird, kind of heavy stuff that got dropped on them last week. And that's apostrophe EM. And yeah, it's a good time. I think we've got a good mix of drama and suspense and action and a whole bunch of comedy. So definitely worth checking that out. And that's the shows for the rest of this week. Other stuff to talk about. We already talked about sponsors and Fundamental and the pre-order thing there. So I think that's pretty much it. We're gonna go on a raid. My link tree. That was the other thing. You can find out all my stuff, like the stuff that I'm doing, social profiles and my portfolio on my website and all that stuff there. And then, yeah, we're going to go with the raid cry. Who here knows anything about Stanley Duchovny? And we're going to go raid Stella Luna, who is a fantastic person, great streamer, does a lot of really fun tabletop stuff. Definitely give her a follow if you're not doing so already. And be sure to say hello and ask about Stanley Duchovny, which is
Oh
great.
no, they're gonna be so confused on that one.
I
I
know.
normally think they're gonna be confused with the raid cries anyway, but I feel like that one's like doubly
Oh,
confusing.
9 times out of 10, our raid cries are just complete gibberish to anybody who wasn't watching, and it's
Yeah,
great.
for sure.
But yeah, thank you again, everybody, for watching, and Leland for running this, and of course, everybody else for playing in this as well. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Good night.